Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Drink While You Think. I'm your host, Matthew. Just kidding. I'm your host, Kenji. He's Matthew.
I'm Matthew.
What's up, everybody? Matthew, tell us who our host is for this episode. Or sorry, not our host, but our sponsor.
We're in deep negotiations with a sponsor right now, and we do not have one to announce at this time. If you'd like to see the back and forth with the sponsor, you can go online. But if you do want to sponsor the podcast, all you have to do is send us beer.
That's all you got to do. Just reach out. One of our friends has reached out to us already. We've given him an address. Go take a look at the chat, in the comment section in YouTube, and you'll see. So you can be a sponsor. Tell us what you want us to talk about too, or you can jump on, or we'll figure something out. Anyway, welcome. Before we jump into this episode, Matthew, and get going, what are you drinking today? I'm
going with Orpheus Brewing, so Atlanta brew. Wait, that's Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. It's called
we know the owner of that brewery.
It calls When All Goes Black, My Shadow Seeks Me. So it's a long title.
Ooh.
And it's a Imperial Coconut Stout, and I did not look beforehand. It is a 10%. So,
and it's how many ounces is that?
It's a pint. So,
okay,
a 10% and a pint. So, Laura's driving to dinner. Here we go.
That's great.
What are you drinking?
I will take yours and also raise it an Imperial Stout. I did this and look at that number on there, 11%. This is the Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout at 11% by New Holland Brewing. This is not local. I believe that's Michigan, I think. But yeah, this is, and also look at that. It's in the big boy bottle. This is 1 pint, 6 ounces.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, so listen, dude, I'm bringing it.
Yeah,
I think we were drinking. I literally pulled this off the shelf a little bit ago. So I'm like, oh, I gotta find a beer that will make Matthew jealous. I should have known you'd have one of something like this too. So it's gonna be hard to make you jealous.
Cheers.
Cheers, my man. Whoa. Punch to the face. Punch to the face.
That's gonna hit you. That'll leave a mark, bro.
That's gonna leave a mark. That's good. I'll have more to talk about this year. So here's what I want to talk about today.
Okay.
On this, this crazy podcast YouTube channel that we come together and talk about things that are happening in our firms. I want to talk about, here's what happens when accounting firm owners come together.
Okay.
And this is something you and I do on a pretty regular basis.
You more than me, Mr. Boondoggle.
I'm coming off of, oh boy. I mean, it's been like I almost wanted to say a 2-week bender. It's probably not the right way to put it, but it's also probably not that far from it, of being with other accounting firms. However, you and I typically seek out other firms wherever we go. So we spend as much time as possible. So I wanted to kind of walk through just what happens when I think accounting firm owners come together. I've got some insights from my past couple of weeks. I think they're relevant to things we've experienced elsewhere too. And kind of encouraging, again, we've done this before, encouraging other firm owners, to get out and get amongst the people. Conference is great, but even elsewhere. So, all right, my first observation.
Okay.
When accounting firm owners get together, they turn it up. Like, so we'll break this down a little bit, but okay, you'll be a little surprised. This may sound terrible to the audience, but like this beer I'm having right here, this is the first alcohol that's touched my lips since I was with those other firm owners.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. So I was like, I got to get home and like just slow down. I mean, I saw, and again, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to put people out there on Front Street, but I'll put it this way. I saw a lot of dancing. I mean, I saw some killer, really good dance moves. I saw some horrendous, super suspect dance moves, but people who could also care less about them. Like the accountants were getting after it. And I want to think about this, right? Because I feel like we've seen this happen a lot. Like this is not new.
We have seen that happen a lot. Yes.
So here's a question. Why, when accountants get together, like what? I think people who are not accountants would be surprised, right? I feel like it's a lively bunch, livelier than people would suspect, don't you? Don't you think so?
I definitely think that. But that bar is pretty low. Like accountants are probably thought of as like really ho-hum. So like basically if we go out to the bar, like that exceeds people's expectations of what we would do.
Emerging
Now,
from our spreadsheet.
if they went to the fourth bar in the bar crawl or to the subsequent disco, underground disco, as we did in Acuity Con Atlanta, or sorry, Zero Con Atlanta, that would be another level. Probably most people aren't ready for that. They can't really hang with the fourth or the fifth stop after the fourth bar, which was the underground dance club.
That's probably true. There's some truth to that. But, I think there's something to this, because as I started thinking back, I was like, wait a minute. You and I were both in public accounting. Those were pretty wild times in public accounting. I remember my wife coming to visit me in Atlanta when I was working in public accounting. And she made a comment of like, we were out with a bunch of my Arthur Anderson friends. And she's like, this is as or more out of control as your old fraternity back in college. I'm like, yeah. Is there something about, does accounting, is it just something that where it like, does it produce some kind of just stamina to kind of push through the night? Is it kind of like one of these things where you just got to release the stress? Like what is it about accounting?
Well, I think first of all, this happens with community, right? So when you're with your people, you let your hair down more than you normally do. So there's a community component to this. And yes, to be fair, like, I mean, at Anderson it was work hard, play hard, right? Like
work hard, play hard.
But that's not an Anderson thing. That's kind of like an accountant's or grinders, right?
That's my point.
I mean,
that's exactly my point, right? Isn't that an accountant's thing? Work hard, play hard.
I think so, because they have to be grinders. They have to be like able to. Busy season's a slog. So like come the end of busy season or come a time when you get together with your community, yeah, it's go time.
It's go time. It is go time. I mean, it's absolutely go time. When we hosted ZeroCon Atlanta, right? We talked about like we knew it was go time. We have to prepare and host our friends, the people. Like, right, it was go time. You and I were. It was a slog.
I mean, I think we had, when we did ZeroCon Atlanta, right? We did the first 2 days we did good. The third one we shouldn't have tried to do, that was too much. But we did bar crawls every day, right? So the first one was like 3 bar crawls, and then we ended at live band karaoke, where a band is playing karaoke. We're like, and everybody's had a blast. Then the second night was the same thing, 4 bars, bar crawl, and then after that it was the disco club and all the craziness and that, and then but like, yeah, so
we did the same thing in Vegas too for AICP Engage, right? We're like, oh, let's go ahead and like
we did host the party at AICP Engage. So.
Pre-parties and all pre-parties and after parties were kind of at our spot.
But I think there's a large component to like when you get a large group of people together, more than 5 or 10, like, and you're in your people, like you can let your hair down a little more than you can in a normal weekend.
I agree. So. That is our community. You think about, there's so many things to talk about. So yeah, but I would just say this, anyone who's not listening, who's listening is not an accountant, we would surprise you. We would definitely surprise you. I'm just saying, I saw that firsthand, and I really wanted no part of it last week. You know me, Matthew, I'm a wallflower. I don't want any part of all that craziness, but I got sucked into it and got pulled out. It was rough on me. It was tough.
Yeah. I'm going to play my little violin for FOMO Kenji.
You're gonna call BS on that? Yeah, okay, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
So for
All
the
right.
people that don't know, Kenji has the most severe case of FOMO of any human on the planet and cannot not go out if everybody else is going out.
That is true.
Uh,
Amongst the other firm owners we were with the past few weeks, we actually, maybe not good to joke about this, but we did. Like we were calling it the Kenji variance. I was delivering the Kenji variance, which just means I'm delivering lots of FOMO, lots of late night shenanigans. That was my contribution of people being contagious with the Kenji variant. I do have that. That's a disease I have. All right.
Observation number 2.
Number 2. And this one is not surprising, but when accounting firm owners come together, just a huge sharing of ideas. And this still builds upon your point about community. I mean, it's unbelievable how much sharing goes on. And I'll get in my observation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's so many competitors that nobody's a competitor.
Yeah.
Like if we've got 100,000 competitors, nobody's really a competitor, right? Like there's so many people that need help that like we're not competitors. So to your point, like when we get together, there's no like trying to guard trade secrets. There's no like secret anything. It's like there's a huge like, sure, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this. Like to the last person. It's crazy.
You saw this. I was sending you messages in Slack like, hey, can you send me some of those things that we sent out to customers? I want to share them with some people, right? And you were sending me like templates and emails, things that we used to like, in that case, we're talking about price increases, right? And someone had a question. I'm like, oh, let me show you what we did. And we literally were sharing them. I was showing them, we kind of have a little bit of a hidden pricing page where if you want to see all of our pricing, we walk through it all with all of our friends, and everyone else did the same thing in kind. They were showing things, but we could go through a million different conversations, things we shared. But I was thinking about it. I was looking back to my notes and from the past few weeks, and something struck me when I was looking through them. And that is this: the unifying, interesting, I think super interesting theme around the way that people shared ideas when they shared what they were doing was DIY. So do it yourself. And you're thinking of it right now. I'm looking at you in a different way. We have a concept of what we think of DIY, but here's what I heard. It's just fascinating, right? So, for example, many of us, including us, are using outsourcing firms where, oh, we need some help. We need some, more talent. Lots of discussions about where do you go find talent, and people are looking overseas.
Right.
There are accountants now who are saying, great, I can use this third party to do my outsourcing overseas. There are accountants who are saying, I'm going to build my own. And so that's happening amongst accounting firms, not some outsourced firm that's everywhere else. US-based accounting firms are going really innovative. Even smaller cloud firms are like, I'm going to build our own. Super interesting. It's like they've seen the model, they analyze it. Okay, I think I can do that better. Like, just fascinating. I saw this in, right, what problems finding people. There are people out there, I'm not going to say who, building their own hiring platforms, right? Going,
Oh, wow.
we got to find more great accountants, right, who are building their own hiring platforms.
Whoever does that, we're like at 5 a month right now. So like if you could get that going pretty quick and let us on it, that'd be great.
There are people, again, we're not just going to go out and use like,
Oh,
I'm going
I
to use
think I got-
LinkedIn or whatever.
I do have a dude. I think they did let us put things on that. I gotta go fill that out. I forget. Okay.
Well, there's the one you're thinking of, and there's even another one I know of that kind of we got to help on doing some kind of beta work on it, like looking at it with them and things like that. But I was like, we didn't talk accounting. We talked about, cool, how do you acquire talent and people? It was really fascinating. I'm like,
yeah.
these are coming from accountants, like building these things. So we're like, oh, I'm fed up with
that's
that.
true. When we're with accountants, we do not talk about accounting. We talk about sales, we talk about marketing, we talk about HR, we talk about technology, we talk about back office. Interesting.
to
Okay.
that also, so we got more examples of the DIY, like we're just going to do it ourselves, is people building their own tech tools, right? To where,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna build something on my own. And whether that's the no code kind of revolution that's kind of happening now, or people hiring developers, like people are building their own tools. Like it's
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Oh yeah. Liv showed me hers at Zendu. It was like this, like her workflow, like how she's doing her workflow on the back end. I was like, that shit's cool. I mean, that's like,
Super cool, right?
it was super. Yeah. So yeah, I
Super
hear you,
cool.
man.
And then finally, check this one out. Even one last one.
You're going all the way with the pint plus 6 ounces. Nice job, dude.
I am. It's
He's
been
usually a wussy, and so he's going stepping up here. All
I'm
right.
stepping up on the drinks. I think you know what it was?
What?
Talking about our peeps and our community. And even though I've
Oh
taken a
yeah.
break off to get my sanity back, I got all excited again. My FOMO's kicking in. I'm imagining being in the room with all them and these ideas. And guess what happens? I start doing this again.
Okay. Observation
and-
3.
Well, no, I'm still on observation 2. I have one more example of the DIY.
What?
There are firms creating their own nonprofits to support the profession, to think about different ways to address things in the profession.
Oh, I think there's people
I mean-
also doing like the full not for profit, and then the other people joining not for profits and boards and AICPA and everything. Oh yeah,
But
ton
people
of that.
spinning things up and going, you know what? I don't think the AICPA is addressing this enough. I don't think we see enough of this in the industry. We've created our own nonprofit, a little bit of a think tank, and they're getting some of the big accounting tech companies who are putting money behind it, saying, "Hey, I like that initiative. Go get it. Like here's a grant, right? The donation to that." So
Nice.
I saw all these things, and when I stepped back and thought of it, I'm like, I was super interested and really, I guess, encouraged and just proud of so many friends of ours and people in the space who are like, "Hey, forget it. I'm going to do it. We'll do it ourselves. I'll figure this out myself." And I guess my underlying premise is this on this second idea about sharing ideas and doing it ourselves. Do not don't underestimate accountants. We may not come up with the idea, someone else might, but guess what? We're going to figure out what doesn't work and re-engineer it better and do it ourselves.
Well, I think some of us are entrepreneurs.
That's a good point.
To say it simply, like there are accountants that are entrepreneurs, and those tend to be our peeps, right?
That's probably the good intersection. Accountants who are entrepreneurs. It's a weird intersection, right? Of a person who's like, okay, I'm this analytical, thoughtful, just very process-oriented individual, but I've also got this entrepreneurial side that's growth-minded. Dude, do you want to go up against someone like that? I don't. I mean, whoa. Those are interesting people, which is why it's probably fun to be out there amongst them. So
cool.
Anyway,
Observation 3.
do it yourself. Anyway, I'm excited about that. Okay, observation number 3. This is our final one. But
I get observations, right?
You get observations, absolutely. Yeah. And I want you to build on these.
So observation 3 from Kenji is?
From me is when you put accounting firm owners together, they support each other. I mean, they really we talked about sharing ideas, but literally I say support from not ideas, but hey, this shit gets kind of hard. This shit's kind of, or I'll give you the really fun, happy version. And that is while we were out on this, and I'll call this person out because, I'm trying to keep some people anonymous, who was out where, but it was Nicole McKenzie of Momentum Accounting. It's her birthday. And we got to support her and celebrate her birthday. And she gave this, we threw kind of a party for her. And she kind of got up and gave a little bit of a toast and said something. And she was teary-eyed and very emotional and all. Actually, she really wasn't. But no, she said some things that were hey, this is you're my peeps. This is really important to me. Like this is kind of what friendship looks like. And I think it resonated with all of us, right? It was a very much like, this is what we do, right? We're going to celebrate the good times like a birthday with friends. And that was really fun. We got her a bunch of donuts because she loved donuts and tequila. That's how we celebrated her birthday. It was really fun. It was really fun. And I think we do that just showing friendship with this group a lot. Like we had we had a number of our good friends come to our tailgates. We've had, we tailgate, we do all this stuff for Atlanta Falcons. We've had a lot of actually accountants. Most of our tailgates made up of accountants. We've had a lot of friends from out of town come to these over the years. We love hosting and showing just friendship and support. We had another example is there was another person in this group who was going literally while we were together in the middle of an acquisition, a deal. And it was kind of getting a little bit funky. And we were able to help them. We were able to there's nothing we're going to do to save a deal, right? I mean, but to provide support and like, hey, I understand, like, you're okay, you got this, right? Was cool. And then I think there's just a general well-being. I talked to you about this before when it comes to whether it's me personally or just others out there. Like, I think as much fun as we're having, it's hard being an accountant. It's hard being an entrepreneur. And I can't imagine not having someone else. I've got you, I talk to you freaking all the time, more than I talk to anybody else in my life, which is kind of crazy. That time to come together and kind of focus on well-being. And there was a lot of discussion. We all came together as firm owners, like, how's everybody doing? And, the range of things were all over the place. I'm doing well today, but yesterday was terrible. Or I've been in a rut, or I'm doing great. There was a lot of that discussion. And so I think when you come from the same place, you kind of get that together, you kind of understand. And there was a lot of, I was really impressed by the amount of vulnerability people had of like, hey, I'm having a tough time. And I'm like, I've been there, man. Help me as well too. And so I think that support side of it, could be support around a birthday or a fun celebration, like, hey, you're closing the deal or you're having a birthday or whatever it might be. Could be a time of like where like, man, this is freaking really hard, like really damn hard. Like, how do we get through it? Right. And so I don't know. I was really happy about that when we came together, that we got a chance to kind of do that as well too. So those are my observations. We turn it up. We share a bunch of ideas. The DIY thing underneath that was super cool. Like, hey, we're going to like build our own stuff. But then also we're a lot of support and friendship. And it felt like very authentic friendship of like, let's have party. Let's party and have fun during highlights. Man, let's help people out during tough times. So come on, what do you got?
Well, I think your third point is my main point. Is like there's like I think for any business owner, and we've seen this with EO, like there's a mental health component to it that you have to address, and you have to talk to people, right? So there's almost like your peer group as therapists, right?
Absolutely.
So to your third point, I think it's really what resonates with me about the conferences in particular, ZeroCon, QuickBooks Connect, is, you and I will go and then we'll break off and you'll go with the group that you like, that likes to dance and party. And I'll go like with mine that like to go to dinner and stuff like that. And I'll try to connect with you and stuff like that. But like, not everybody's going to the dance club. Some people are going to a dinner and sitting down and just talking through like you're talking about. And but the commonality is, within those communities that you form or those sub communities you form, you find this support system, the support, and that support's as easy as like just hearing you talk and having somebody that, when you talk and when we have problems, we don't really expect anybody to fix it, right? But it's just such a powerful thing to have a community of people that's not really competitive with each other, that understands. Like at the end of the day, with 100,000 competitors, you have no competitors. So you're like, it's not like we head to head with any of our friends. Sometimes we don't compete with them in a given year. right? We may not, but it's like onesie twosie, and who cares, right? But at the end of, but this community and this sense of belonging, and then the trust that's built there, that you can create this relationship. And it's not like, it's almost like group therapy, but I mean, it's more of like a just acknowledgement of like your first world problem is real, and we've had it, or we've seen something similar, and we can share some shared experiences, and that's great. I think we all acknowledge most of our problems are first world
Right.
problems,
They are.
but so it's just nice. It's just a great, I mean, it's just like, if anybody's not been to ZeroCon or QuickBooks Connect, I highly encourage you to go meet some peeps. Like, it's just a phenomenal turning point we had, I think 5 years ago, right? 6 years ago, when you went to the first ZeroCon that you went to.
7. Well, this will be 6, 7 years. Yeah.
6, 7 years ago.
ZeroCon Denver 2015. I always remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, that was transformational for us, right? To have peeps, to have people to bounce ideas off of, you know. So just to have people that understood like a stupid problem at bill.com, or like a quirky rev share program at Gusto, or something like that. I mean, just the silliest things that you can have these common, because you have this like instant common language with these folks, in these instant common experiences with all these partnerships. And I think that's why those two conferences in particular stick out to me, because, you know, if you're a Zero user, like, that's one that's like really strong. QuickBooks Connect's a little overwhelming, but you can still find your people once you get into the sessions. So
there's two words you said that really jumped out to me that I think I would, you know, for anyone who might listen to this, or anyone I'm going to meet in the community, I would tell them to focus on, and that is the shared experience. You said that a couple times, the shared experience. That's probably why this whole thing of like when accounting firm owners come together, we're essentially just kind of sharing our experiences, you know, and we have so many common shared experiences. That's a gift. Like, that's a really interesting. We don't have that with that many people. Like, I think about my neighbors, or my friends, or my family even, and they're wonderful. But when we're in this community of being accounting professionals together, we have a shared experience. And so when you said that, it just creates some real natural things we can talk about. Oh, here's this tech partner is driving me crazy. Are you having trouble hiring people? Or why, when I build my chart of accounts, does it go this way, right? Who else is going to understand that besides other people that have shared experiences, right? So that is what I would encourage people to do. And I think that is the right first step, is go to one of the big conferences, QuickBooks Connect, ZeroCon, whatever your flavor is, pick it and just go. And then you get these, you can actually either join, like find your tribe, or create your tribe kind of out of those, right? And I think that one of the things that I think about in there, probably when it gets super social, I mean, I'm talking about social media, it can get kind of clicky, kind of get very kind of, I don't mean to say high schoolish, but it can kind of get a little bit like clicks of here's who people are doing this, and here's my picture with all these people doing whatever. I don't want people to feel bad about that. Like, oh, why are they doing this? And I'm not, you know, and that's a little bit of me. I worry about that kind of stuff. But I think if you go and go to one of those conferences, you will find your tribe. And there's, like you said, there's 100,000 accounting firms out there. You will find your tribe, go create it, and just spend some time in it. Like, it'll be valuable. It'll absolutely be valuable, that community. So, and if you want to, go out there and kind of turn it up, get out there and get a little loose. I mean, get out there and kind of blow some steam off. I think there's something to that.
I think that's a key part. Like, I mean, once you find your people, you can let your hair down. Like, I think that's an indicator that you found your people, and you get out and you can turn it up. Like, it's pretty much like that.
The indicator, I love that. The Matthew metric. Of course, Matthew finds a way to have like kind of a way to clarify. I won't say quite a metric, but like if you can go turn it up with a bunch of people, you found your people, right? You can let loose. You can kind of be authentic and all that. So anyway, it was good to kind of look at that. I feel like things are turning. We're about to open up into a space to where the conferences are coming back. We're all going to be getting back together again soon. So let's be hopeful about that for sure.
Yeah, two big ones I'm looking forward to: Accounting Web in San Diego. Accounting Web, I love that they're putting together we'll call it a non-denominational conference.
Yeah. Amen, brother Matthew. I should say amen.
And then we're gonna go from San Diego to New Orleans to a denominational conference in zero. So if you're looking for my top 2 recommendations, if you haven't been to one, Accounting Web in San Diego, followed by ZeroCon in New Orleans. And if you can do both, do both. I'm trying to talk Kenji into doing both with me. I'm doing both. So it's going to be really hard to twist his arm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like
San Diego is kind of a crappy town. I know. So
it is it is tough there. I don't know if I can make that happen, but we'll see. We'll see about that. So, all right, let's do our usual thing and closing this one down. I'm going to pull up for those who are listening, you have to listen along with us. I've heard for the first time ever, when I was out and about amongst the people, I've heard people say, "Hey, I'm listening to your podcast." So I'm trying to do a better job of not just assuming people are watching us, but people are actually listening to us. Matthew, thanks to you.
Even if people are watching us on YouTube, they're not watching us. They've got us running in the background.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
They're not looking at our mugs. That wouldn't last 2 seconds.
That shouldn't last 2 seconds. It should not. Oh my gosh. Look at this, Matthew. Do you see this?
What?
I'm on the Untappd. Do you see on the Untappd thing here? I was about to rate it. There was an ad here a minute ago. Oh, it just changed.
For the exact beer that you're drinking?
No, the ad a minute ago was for Drav in QuickBooks Online.
Oh yeah, because you've been.
It's retargeting. Website. It's retargeting, but still, I was like, wow, what an accounting thing there. Okay, so Dragon's Milk. Let me do one more sip here to get a good.
You're not signed in, even, dude. And this is a total Kenji. This is a total Kenji fail.
I'm signing in. Wow, but I'm going to.
Kenji has not done. Kenji has not done Drink While You Think in 3 weeks. He's abandoned me for 3 weeks in a row.
I have. But
I've pinged him on each of the Fridays, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing it."
I'm gonna fix this. So I'm here. I'm gonna do aroma, smell, mouthfeel. I'm gonna give it a 4.25. It probably would have been a 4 for me otherwise.
You can put it back to a 4 because it has a bourbon barrel.
It's doing the bourbon actually kicked it up a little bit. You could taste that, but the 4.25 that's a strong.
It goes the other way for me. I like bourbon takes it down for me.
For me, it takes it up, but also like it just was a good warming on a cold day kind of thing. It was really, really good. So you, Matthew, had
when all goes black, my shadow seeks me. That's not. That's
Orpheus.
The first one.
This is, by the way, a kind of a friend of ours actually owns this brewery. So,
okay, I'm just not a coconut fan, so I'm going 3.75. Like I'm like my normal baseline for a stout is a 4.
I'm going to tell Remco Boss.
Slightly under them. I promise to go drink one of your non-coconut stouts and rate it better.
Well, they mostly do sours there. It's kind of known for that. But do you know Remco? Remco Boss. I'm sorry about Matthew's 3.75. You still have the coolest name of anyone I know because your name is Remco Boss, who's the owner of Orpheus. But we'll go over there, find some other drinks to have there as well. So good rating.
Is Orpheus on the Beltline?
It's right next to Marty's place, right on. You can walk there from Marty's over on Piedmont Park.
Okay. We need to do live from Orpheus within the next month.
They have the best running events ever. You know why? It's a 0.05K.
Oh, 0.05K.
They have this little loop right outside the brewery, and everyone goes and runs one loop and comes and has a beer. It's a 0.05K. So they have the stickers and everything. All these people that wear the stickers like, oh, 26.1. Well, they have a 0.05. I think it's 0.05K. It's pretty cool. So,
Well, I have a 15K in a week. So
you do?
Yeah, the hot chocolate's in a week, dude. So I got, I'm working on it. So
Well, I'm proud of you. You're the new Matthew, the new year. You're looking good with those awesome. Look at those super cool glasses you got rocking. Those are awesome. Like you look.
I didn't think you could get through without saying something about the glasses.
I am a big fan. We should do. I'm going to change my glasses up now. You've motivated me.
How about I'm at pre-COVID weight today?
I was going to also, dude. You've lost a lot of weight. I'm super proud of you. I am.
I just got back to pre-COVID weight, so I went from 196 to 214 back to 196. So 196 this morning. So
love it. Love it.
So pre-COVID weight. So
all right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Drop us some comments. Send us some beer.
Sponsor us. Send us a beer.
Whatever you want to do. Cheers, everyone. See you next time.
Cheers.